Hello, I'm Evita Bernice Umali-De Vera, a candidate for MBA in Mapua University, Yuchengco School of Business, and I will be presenting my capstone proposal entitled Navigating Client-Side Systemic Inefficiencies in Construction Project Management. Leadership Strategies for Managing Process Opacity Beyond the Control of Project Managers. In partial fulfillment for my Research Methods course presented to Dr. Donn Enrique Moreno. For the preliminary exploration, the topic of interest was around construction project procurement delays, wherein the client oftentimes delays the release of purchase orders or does not provide visibility or transparency on the current status of the processes. This also is connected to exploring the navigation of client-side challenges by the construction project managers. The various theoretical significance related to this topic of interest is information asymmetry theory, wherein not everyone has the same information. This causes mistrust and also confusion among the stakeholders. For contingency leadership theory, this discusses that sometimes construction project managers have to employ adaptive strategies to manage these kinds of situations and delays. Stakeholder theory emphasizes that expectations need to be set and accountability is key. For institutional theory, the gist here is that sometimes these long processes and internal workflows that are not very transparent to all the stakeholders are considered as normal. So the aim here is to improve processes and to provide more visibility and transparency to ensure that all the stakeholders are informed and to maintain the trust among the stakeholders. The managerial significance are improved leadership strategies under uncertainties, enhanced stakeholder coordination, and strategic risk management. The summary of the research that is needed to bridge the gap in the research and case studies around construction project delays is number one, understanding client-side procurement bottlenecks. 2. Leadership strategies in low-control environments. And number 3. Stakeholder dynamics and accountability during delays. The project context and the research focus are the timely procurement, which is essential for keeping construction projects on momentum. Moreover, client-led projects often face delays in releasing purchase orders. This normally happens in the Philippine settings when contractors have already started their works and are actually having accomplishment on site already when they have not even received their purchase orders or they have not received any down payment, posing financial risk to them and also the fear of not being able to be paid. These delays are usually caused by internal workflows and approval bottlenecks within clients. So this has been identified in some of the research cases, but this has not been thoroughly studied or there is still a lack of information in these findings. Now, this study explores how project managers can lead through uncertainty while managing strained relationships and maintaining progress despite limited control. The research gap and strategic relevance that are explored in this study is noted that most studies and literature focused on contractor side issues. However, client side inefficiencies remain underexplored. For the procurement delays, there were evidences that some of these delays stemmed from rigid approval systems and lack of transparency. These caused disrupted timelines and undermined the trust of stakeholders. Also, this research highlights the leadership and relational strategies that project managers go beyond their technical fixes to address these challenges. With regards to the references that were gathered by the proponent, the following were observed: that client-side procurement and approval delays were a major cause of project disruptions. Internal workflows and lack of transparency often slow down the timelines and strain stakeholder relationships. Contractor issues got more attention, but client-side delays are equally impactful. However, these are under-researched. So it just goes to show that stronger leadership and clear communications may help manage these challenges. But to back that up, there's a need to understand client-side processes and how project managers can lead when their control is limited. From the patterns and gaps that were identified from the references and the research papers, case studies, and published articles in journals, two propositions emerged. One is that client-side procurement workflows such as PO releases, budget clearances, were often found to be opaque and fragmented. Some communications even routed through intermediaries who lack decision-making and authority. And therefore, this forces project managers and contractors to navigate these delays through repeated follow-ups, but there remains to be no access to reliable timelines or actionable information. Proposition number 2 states that in the absence of transparent procurement timelines, project managers often adopt adaptive leadership strategies to maintain progress and stakeholder trust. The conceptual framework that was put together showed that client-side inefficiencies such as procurement delays, lack of transparency in process flows, and fragmented decision-making will often result to leadership strategies being adopted by the construction project manager to mitigate or to address these inefficiencies. In summary, there is a need to add depth in addressing the leadership implications of client-side procurement bottlenecks. By examining how project managers respond to these challenges, this research contributes to a more nuanced understanding of strategic leadership and construction management. It also aims to offer practical insights for improving stakeholder coordination and institutional responsiveness, advancing both academic theory and industry practice. The research instrumentation to be used is an interview questionnaire, wherein questions such as the interviewee's background and their role in the construction project setting, what is the sector that they are involved in, such as private or public sector, including their experiences with procurement delays, particular on the client side, their experiences with internal workflows that they have a lack of visibility into, and the difficulty with which they obtain statuses and updates on certain releases such as down payments, purchase order release, etc. What were their experiences related to this with their clients, and how they managed this situations when they were put into these kinds of challenging situations. And finally, their insights and reflections on what could be done better to improve the system, to improve workflows, to gain more visibility into clients' internal workflows, and to actually have more symmetry in information across the stakeholders to improve trust and to mitigate further delays. Thank you very much for listening to my capstone proposal, and I hope that you could provide me with some insight and feedback um, based on your review of my capstone presentation. Thank you very much and good day.